All right, guys, today we have hip-hop royalty in the house. I mean, this man does not get anywhere near the recognition that he deserves. I'm talking rapper, producer, A&R, mentor, and I think half comedian, all right? You name it. I'm talking about the one, the only D-Dot, a.k.a. the Mad Rapper, man. D-Dot, what's good with you, baby?
I'm blessed, baby. Thanks for having me, P. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing good, man. It's just a pleasure to speak with you today. You've been in this game for so long, man.
Good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let's start with the new album, right? The new Black Rob album. How did this album come about? Because Rob done been passed for 2.5 years now, right? Rest in peace to him. Were you guys working on this before he passed?
A little bit, yeah. You know, he was a little sick, you know, obviously before he passed. So most of this stuff was worked on early 2018, 2019 type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Then we took a little pause for the cause. But most of the album, you know, was done in the early 2000s and the late 90s and early, you know, 2010s and 11s. And I just, you know, just decided we're going to just use what we can and try to make it sound as now as possible. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it is.
Yeah, because the production don't sound old at all, man. Like, it sounds dope.
The production is new. All the production is new now. You know what I mean? And it's actually a lot of old beats from 2000, like a couple of joints. The beats were old, but we revived them because certain beats are timeless. You know what I'm saying? So we just wanted to make sure that we captured some of that feel.
Yeah, the song "Step Up" with the Biggie sample. Straight like fire, man. That track is crazy, and I like "Get It," and what is it? "Live Your Life." Is that right?
Oh yeah, that's with Faith.
Yeah. Them joints is crazy, man.
All right.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite track off the album?
My favorite? I don't know if I have a favorite, but I know it's growing on me now because you know I don't really like my own records, but more is growing on me more. You know what I mean? Like just with me and Rob.
Wait a minute. You don't like your own records?
Well, not that I don't like them, but it's like, you know, I think I make better records for other people than when I'm on them. You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
So hearing myself on a record with Rob, just reminisce because that's how we used to do in the studio. Just go back and forth. You know what I'm saying?
Let us know about the relationship that you had with Rob.
Oh man, like we the same age. Me and Rob born the same year. He's a month older than me. We both born in '68, and we just both love hip hop. We both from the hoods. You know what I mean? He's from the Harlem hood. I'm from the Brooklyn hoods. We just had this vibration about the style of beats we liked and the sports. You know, he was a big sports fan. I was a sports fan. You know, we both smoked weed. He was more of a drinker than I was, but you know, we both smoked weed. You know what I mean? And he was funny. He was just a genuinely good dude. Obviously, growing up in the hood, it scars you, and he did a lot of self-inflicted wounds, you know, stealing and robbing and doing all that other stuff. But in that studio, he was a beast, and I consider myself a beast. So it was just a natural connection. We just liked the same type of vibe, the bounce. He liked to dance. I liked to dance. So it was just a natural fit. It was just a natural fit. That's the best way I could describe it.
So did you know Rob before you guys met at, I mean, you know, because of Bad Boy, or was just the connection was at Bad Boy first?
Actually, it was before Bad Boy. Mark Pitts managed the crew. He was a part of the crew, remember? And he managed Tracy Lee, who I was dealing with. And Tracy Lee was on Crew's first album. And so was Rob. Rob was on 2 songs, actually. So I met Rob during a Crew session. And then learned later that he then signed to Bad Boy. And so it was just like, wow, this is fate saying, you know, y'all 2 old dudes get together and make some magic. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And so over the years, you guys just always stayed connected?
Yes. Over the year, we just stayed connected. You know, his boys that he brought around, like Beloved and Raheem and Jay Grands and Chris Murray and all these dudes. And, you know, his alumni crew, G-Dep and all the rappers. We just all, you know, somehow stay connected, whether we didn't all speak, but somebody would get the message and everybody would be like, you good? Yeah, we good, you know. So, and I just chose to do this project. It wasn't like I had to. This was a passion project. It was just I love my dude so much, and he don't get the same love that the other got, the other rappers that passed away, and MCs that passed away. Rob doesn't really get the same fanfare or the same, let's hear more. So I just wanted the world to hear more from my guy. He was dope, you know what I'm saying? And he should get those props, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely. He doesn't get the recognition, like you said, as much as the other people that have passed.
Yeah.
What was the process like of doing the album for you? How long did it take?
It took about 2 years.
About 2 years?
Yeah, it took about 2 years, in and out, not every day, took time off, family stuff, just when I caught the vibe, discouraged sometimes, and then, not, people not coming through for me that I wanted to come through and stuff like that. So, you pick it up, drop it off. But like right before my birthday in July, I just got a vibe. And some said, man, let's just finish this last piece and let's just go. So me, my man Riz Deluxe, Jamal, and the engineer Bishop, Bishop Make It Knock. We just tightened up and just finished. And my decision, was to make it a double album finally at the very last minute because we were gonna break it up. And I said, nah, I think this is epic. Let's just use all the songs, and everybody agreed, and we did.
Would you say that it was like an emotional process for you?
Nah, it wasn't emotional. Rob is gone. I faced those facts. It was more like, finally, more like we did it for hip hop 50th anniversary. We did it for Rob. It's my calling card to let people know I'm still here. I still got that. I'm not the dude on social media all day. Look at me, look at me, look at me. But I let my work speak for itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt, man. Rest in peace to Black Rob, man.
Yeah. BR, Bacardi Rob. Word.
So let's start at the beginning. You're from New York, from Brooklyn, right?
Yes, sir.
And did you grow up with any siblings?
No, only child.
Only child. And as a child, like, were you really into sports or was it music, like, from the beginning?
It was both. I played high school football, sandlot football. I actually tried out for Howard's team in '86 when I got there, but I didn't make the cut. I was too little. So I love sports to this day, and football is my passion. So I was pretty nice, but I was just little. And, New York programs are not like them Alabama programs and them, them Atlanta programs and California programs. They came on Howard's campus and was like, yeah, son, you might want to just, go ahead and stick to rapping. And rapping was always a passion, but once got to Howard, I didn't really think I was going to be a career. You give it up in high school, banging on the tables. You think you're nice. You get to college, you get a little more focused, but some magic happened in college, them times at Howard University and took me on that path. So I kind of love both equally.
Gotcha. And what did your parents do for work?
My mother was a doctor of education. And my father, my real father, he was a drug counselor. And my stepfather, who I, pretty much grew up with, he was a technician. He fixed computers and copiers and, built computers and stuff like that.
Wow. So did they ever want you to be like in that kind of line of work, like really pursue on an education level?
Nah, my real father, he's a drug counselor because growing up he was a alcoholic, you know what I mean? So he had to go through those motions. My mother was a doctor of education because she just loves taking care of people and she's a kid, but it was never once that she said, you need to be a teacher, go to school, become a teacher. I actually went to Howard University on a nursing scholarship because I was on track to become a physician assistant. That was my major. But when I got there, the books was just a little bit too big for you boys. So I said, yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and try this hippity hobbity thing and see how that works out for me. I'm kind of nice. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So like at what age did you start to really develop that love for hip hop? Like, were you already working like on any instruments? Like, were you good on the keys or?
I played little drums in high school, nothing major. But by the, 10, 11, 12, sixth grade is when, all the major records came out for me. And then growing up as a teenager, we got all the mixtapes from Brooklyn and Queens and Bronx and Harlem. So I'm hearing Cold Crush, Fantastic Five, Kumo D, Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, and Grandmaster Flash and all of them. And we had Grandmaster Flowers in Brooklyn, who was like the original Grandmaster. So he's playing disco slash what will become hip hop in the early 70s, late 70s, early 80s. So that all influenced me. All of that is what I heard growing up. So I just, and then Run DMC and LL Cool J came, and it was just a movement that was unheard. Dana Dane, the Brooklyn Squad, Just Ice, and all them, Cool G Rap, Kane and KRS, and they just started coming. It was like, oh, okay, this is where it's at. And by then I'm 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, you know what I'm saying?
So is that around the same time you wrote the first rhyme?
Now, my first rhymes was probably 10, 11, 12, but my first real rhymes wasn't really until I got to high school when I really decided I was going to rap. You know what I'm saying? So my real rhymes was probably high school.
So you meet Puffy at Howard, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
1987, Howard.
Wow. And you end up going to Uptown to be an intern, right?
No, he did.
Oh, he did. Okay.
He went to Uptown to be an intern. I got a record deal with a group called Two Kings and Cypher.
That's right. Okay.
So I got a record deal, rapping, me and Ron Lawrence, and Puffy was an intern at Uptown.
And then in 1993, he ends up getting fired by Andre Harrell, right? And then at that time, do you remember like his reaction to that?
No, I wasn't around him then. I was still living in D.C. because we had just got dropped the same year from our label. So I wasn't around Puffy from 90 to 93 because he moved to New York then, and I lived in D.C., and I was part of a group. So we were traveling the country and touring, and then we were working on our second album. I saw him. We saw each other back and forth when we were in New York, and he'd come back to D.C., but I wasn't around him for those moments.
Gotcha. Okay. And what is your reaction when you guys get dropped?
Oh, I'm sad because I got to go back and live with my mother in the basement. You go from being a grown man, being on your own, to having $20, and now I got to go live in my mother's basement. So it was crazy. Then I worked in a bookstore. So I'm working in the bookstore, collecting money at the cash register. Yo, ain't you that guy that was on Video Music? Yeah, whatever. $11.99. Come on, get up out of here. Come on.
Damn. So you got that kind of reaction. And so it was definitely humbling, kind of depressing of an experience, right?
Absolutely humbling. Absolutely humbling. But, stayed the course, though. Knew what I wanted to do. So it was just a matter of when the opportunity came, when my numbers called, what was I going to do? That's all.
So the group ends up breaking up at that time?
We got dropped. Me and Ron never broke up. We were always boys. So yeah, but because we got dropped, and then I decided to move home to Queens, and he decided to fly to LA and work with a group that was out of Howard as well called Shy. They were R&B group.
Oh yeah.
And they went to school with us. And they were, so they lived in LA. So Ron went out there 93, 94, 95 around there to go mess with them, and I moved back to Queens. So we were, bi-coastal at the time.
So at what point do you end up going to Bad Boy to start out as the intern?
I was never really an intern, but I did intern things. So what happened was I would just go meet Puffy and them in Manhattan after work. Remember, I had a job, and my mother wouldn't let me live in the basement without putting money on the table every Friday. So I couldn't go live. You heard the stories of people living with him in his house and all that crazy shit. I couldn't do all that. So I would meet them after work at different studios, wherever they were at. I'd find out, call Harv or Mark Pitts, and they would let me know, and I'd just come chill. And then me being who I am and seeing my boy, who I was throwing parties with just 3 or 4 years ago at Howard University, is now doing his thing. Where I'm from, we assist, we help out. So I would just do whatever if something needed to be done and nobody was there to do it, I'd do it. I'm sitting around here doing nothing, smoking weed. I'll help you, bro. And he saw that hustle and he liked it because he never solicited me and asked me to do anything for him. Matter of fact, the one time that I did come to him and say, hey, I could easily leave that job in Brooklyn if you need. I was working at Medgar Evers College. If you need me, he's like, nah. So he didn't really actually want me to come work for him for some reason, which probably in his mind he had a future thought. So I would just help out, you know what I mean? And he saw that hustle in me. So that's all it really was. I never really was officially an intern for Bad Boy at all. But I did intern. I would carry a picket sign if they needed it. If he needed somebody to drive the car, do something while I was in the studio with him, I'd do that. Fuck it. Like,
So you did it out of love. Like you did it out of love for what you guys had developed as a brotherhood.
Yeah. And look what he's doing. It's like, wow, like, I'm allowed to be around this. Let me just shut up and take notes. You know what I'm saying? Relax and take notes.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And you ended up having so many different positions at Bad Boy, right?
Yeah,
You were
yeah,
the
yeah.
director of merchandising, then you
Yes.
went to management, booking
Yes.
shows,
Yes.
managing Mary J. Blige on
Yes.
tour,
Yes.
vice president of A&R,
Yes.
then head of the Hitmen. Like,
Yes.
that's crazy because like you got like such a wide a range of skill sets from different jobs in the industry, right? You got
Yes.
to dibble and dabble in everything. So
Yes.
during this time, are you producing music as well in addition to all these jobs, or?
Yes, I bought when I was on the road with Mary J. Blige because Ron lived in LA. I'm a rapper at heart. I'm still a rapper to this day. Before I'm a producer, I'm an MC. Period. MC. So I bought a drum machine because I wanted to, he back then we had to use the mail. There was no internet. So if he made beats, I had to wait for him to make 50 of them to put them on tape for me. Then he would send it because he couldn't just send every 2 beats he made. So Ron makes beats when he wants to, and then he take a break and he make more. So Ron put together 20, 30, 40, 50 tracks for me, put them on a DAT, put them in the mail and send them to me. And I would write to him. But, our flows were a little different. Our bops were a little different. So I was like, damn, I want to bop a little different. So I said, let me use this Mary J. Blige money. And I went and bought a drum machine and started. He had already showed me how to make beats because he's my mentor as far as beat making. He showed me the little things when we were in D.C. together. So I already had the foundations down, but I just like to swing a little bit. I like my swing a little bit. So I bought a drum machine, and that's when I started. So while I'm in my mother's basement, I'm sitting up there making beats quietly. I'm sitting up there doing little beats and little things and trying to get ideas and sampling and just saying, okay, and now I can write the way I want to write. Because my goal was I'm going to get back out here and I'm going to get ready to body these dudes. That's what I was thinking at the time.
So what was it about rapping that was just spoke to you more than anything, more than being a producer, more than all these other different jobs? What was it about being on the mic that spoke to you the most?
It's the poetry, the wordplay. It's the instrumentation of your voice on a track. Being able to put your voice inside some music and it feels like the flute or the trumpet or the bass line or the guitar. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of it. And some of these MCs have that magic that they get inside that track and it just feels like, oh my God, it's just one full song and you can't separate the two. That's the beauty of being an MC. Being able to engulf yourself so much in the track that people can't imagine it without you on it.
When you really in the pocket.
When you're really in the pocket and you, like I said, when they hear it, if you're not on it, it's almost like the song is spoiled.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the beauty of being an MC.
So as an MC, would you consider yourself, you were like real personal in your rhymes, or like you was more about the lyricism and trying to take people's heads off?
I mean, I wasn't really a battle rapper. Like I wasn't really a battle rapping dude. Like I was more just rhymes. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm more just rhymes. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to do the best I can as far as just entertaining. I'm 5'7", 160 wet. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? So I'm not really fighting nobody, and I didn't really want to be a tough guy. I wanted to just entertain. So if it meant educating, if it meant talking about chicks, if it meant a scenario, whatever it meant, I was going to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So were you there when Diddy met Biggie for the first time?
No.
Do you remember when you met Biggie for the first time?
Yes.
What was that like?
I reached my hand out to say what's up to him, and he said, "I know who you are. I used to watch you on Video Music Box."
Wow.
And it blew my mind. It blew my mind. I'm from the same hood. I knew some of his OGs, so I'm from Brooklyn. He's from Brooklyn, so I was also another natural fit. When I told him who I know and who he knew, it was like, "Oh man, you real?" And again, he used to watch me on television. You know what I mean? I was on Video Music Box in New York all the time. You know what I mean? So.
And did you meet him at the studio, or was this like just on the street? Oh, okay.
No, at the studio, yeah.
So he was just signed already at that time?
Yeah.
How much was Tupac around Bad Boy before the beef?
I don't know. Like I said, though, that era of 93 to 94, 95, that era when Pac was around, I wasn't really around as much. I was until 96, 97 because I was working. Mm-hmm. So I saw Pac every blue moon around, but Pac had his own movement going on. He was already a star, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't really rolling all the time. Like every time he came, he was with Big. It wasn't like that. But, you know, when they were together, they were together. It wasn't a lot of fanfare. It wasn't a lot of, hundreds of us rolling. So I wasn't really around, and I didn't really see him around as much as people think that he was around. You know what I mean?
So by the time that you came around was like really the beef started to take off pretty much more so.
No, I mean, I was around when it was good, but, meaning I was at the studios when they would be there once or twice, but it wasn't like, Pac was rolling with us every day, 7, 8, 9 months a year.
Right,
He
right.
disappeared, and then, if he came back in town, only Biggie and his crew would roll with him. It wasn't a big, let's all roll with Pac. It wasn't. It wasn't that. This is New York City we talking about.
Yeah.
It's so much stardom there that it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that.
What do you think about the rumors that at one point, I guess Tupac was supposed to sign with Bad Boy? Did you ever hear that?
Clueless about that.
Okay.
Again, all of that talk and all that stuff. Unfortunately, I wasn't in those rooms yet.
Mm-hmm.
I got in those rooms later, but I wasn't in those rooms yet. I was still on the outside, around. I'm a boy, but I didn't do anything on Ready to Die. I didn't do anything on Craig Mack. I didn't do anything on those albums. I wasn't involved with those. I was just around to know stories, but I wasn't in the executive rooms yet.
What was your relationship like with Biggie? Were you guys really close at one point?
For me, we were close, definitely. I mean, unfortunately, we can't get where he was, but that dude showed me so much love, and C's and Gutter and D-Rock and Banger and all them dudes, and Jacob York and Un and all them, they always told me Big had so much love. It's crazy because just today I was talking about Buck Wild, the producer. Shout out to Buck, one of my baby bros who I love. He said that he told me a story that when he went to Brooklyn one time, that he played some beats for Big, and Big was like, I like him, but go to the studio, play it for Derek, see what he thinks.
Wow.
Because he told Buck, I like your beats, but I need something I can write to. I can't rhyme to him. And Buck didn't know, so he came to me and I explained to Buck, and Buck went back, and next thing you know, I'm not saying I'm the cause of it, but I gave him a little advice on what the bop was and what we were looking for and what Big was talking about. You know what I'm saying? So yes, me and Big, I think we had one of the craziest producer, A&R artist relationships. It was, we've been to each other's cribs type of thing. We traveled together. You know what I mean? So that's something you can't. I cherish that forever, basically.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any conversations with Big about the situation with Pac, like how he felt about how the friendship had fallen apart?
Oh, yeah. Everybody was confused. Everybody was confused. He was confused. He didn't understand. So, we didn't understand, because at that time, sensationalism wasn't really the main thing that you were trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So it was new to us to that level. So just like me, everybody, we were just a little confused about what was happening on that side. So that's my conversation. But again, who I am is I mind my business, so I don't really speak unless I'm spoken to. So I didn't really ask because it's none of my business. But if I was in the room, I would hear things, and one major thing that I heard was confusion. We just didn't understand what we were seeing and hearing.
So you ended up creating the persona, the Mad Rapper, on Biggie's second album, right? Life After Death.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind that? Because it's just genius.
It was the beef, the West Coast, East Coast beef. It was that. It was like, like, what are we doing here? Like, you know what I mean? And I just took some people from the studio manager, that was Puffy's cousin, the front desk girl, her real name was Shay. And I brought them in the studio and said, let's try something, let's go for it. Just thinking out the box, just trying to figure out what will entertain. And most of the time when you make fun of yourself, people start laughing. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what it was. The inspiration was to show how ridiculous it is to hate on dudes that don't hate on you.
Okay. So it wasn't necessarily like to mock the West Coast or anything, but it was to make light of the situation.
Right. Yeah, not at all. There's no reason to mock them. I mean, they ain't do nothing to me personally. I'm a ride or die dude, but I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot for words. You know what I mean? At that point, it was all just words. You know what I'm saying? So the Mad Rapper came after that. And it was like, we already lost Pac, we already lost Big. There's no need to lose anybody else.
And for a while, your identity as the Mad Rapper was hidden to the public, right?
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
did you
yeah,
want to
yeah.
keep it hidden?
Again, I wanted to be a rapper, and I didn't think that was going to be the way for dudes to take me seriously with my bars, for one, and then two, where I'm from, Feli had gave me a deal to represent Feli as D-Dot, and it was $500,000. And so, at that time, we aren't seeing this type of money yet. Where I'm from, somebody's cutting you a check for $500,000, like, yikes.
Right.
But they wanted it to be D-Dot, not the Mad Rapper, because the Mad Rapper had a little negative connotation to it. And so this person decided that, fuck your money. I think the public needs to know it. And, my reaction was, yikes, I never seen this type of money. They just ripped the check up. Because they wanted to keep it me as a producer next to Puffy, not a character. They didn't want it.
Right.
They didn't want a character. You know what I mean?
So then you get revealed to be the Mad Rapper, right? What is your immediate reaction when that happens?
Oh, I ended up getting locked up. That's my immediate reaction. Just, oh my God, this can't be happening. So I ended up paying the price, and I was on Saturday Night Live, and they made jokes out of it. But yeah, I reacted wrong as a child. I was still young in their mind, but again, my mindset was I may never see this type of money again. And somebody just, unbeknownst to them, they didn't know this was going to be the result of it. They were just doing, I guess, hip hop duty, or what they felt hip hop needed to know. But there was more backstory to it that affected my life and my livelihood. I got kids to feed, and like I said, a $500,000 check at that time was just, yikes.
And then what you're referring to is the Blaze magazine incident, right?
Yes.
And so you ended up getting locked up for that. Did you end up doing any real time for that, or was like you were?
No, I had to pay. I had to pay something to the gentleman. Quietly between us, kind of settle out of court. Nice number. He got a nice number and kept me out of jail, thankfully. So I thank him for keeping me out of jail. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I ended up paying the price for that.
Did you ever end up having a conversation with him like years later after that?
Never.
No, never. Okay. So in 1999, you released your debut album under the Mad Rapper, Tell 'Em Why You Mad, right?
Yeah.
Features on it is just ridiculous, just crazy. Amazing, right?
Yeah, crazy.
You got a young Eminem, Diddy, Raekwon, Busta Rhymes, a young 50 Cent, and more. This
Kanye,
was released.
Kanye, the producer.
Right. And we gonna get into that.
But,
so you released it under your own imprint, right?
Yes.
Why not on Bad Boy?
Politics, just some inside things that I just felt like I didn't want to be a part of. And Puff mutually was like, yeah, if it's going to be all of this, then let's not do it. But he executive produced it, and Bad Boy kind of was my street team for me. So it was still a family affair. Just, he gave me the chance to kind of fly on my own and see how I liked it. That's all. So it worked out.
Did you like that more because there was a little bit more freedom, or?
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, I liked it, but it probably should have been under Bad Boy. It probably would have had a lot more impact. But again, the politics of it, the timing of it, and things like that, just it wasn't in the stars at that time. But it was no hate. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Definitely no hate.
So how did the track with Eminem come about, Stir Crazy?
Wow. An engineer in the studio, his name is Kamel. He passed away, God bless him. I don't know how, but he came to the studio one day and put us up on this guy named Eminem. And then either the same day or the next day, Busta Rhymes came through to work on the record that we worked on with him. And he had Hi My Name Is and told me to listen to it. And I was like, wow. So I had my squad who worked for me find him. And they did. And he charged me $5,000. And we did the record. Kanye had the beat, had already sent me the beat on that. And Eminem, I wanted Eminem on the same record with Busta. It was going to be me, Busta, and Eminem, since Busta was a fan as well. But Eminem didn't like the beat that Busta was on. I said, okay, fine, no problem. Like, I got plenty. So I went through a couple of beats, and I said, I told the crew, let me get Kanye's Dat. And because at the time I managed him, so I went through the beats and I found one, and he said, "Oh yeah, I like that one. I like that one." I said, "All right, let's rock it." And then we
Oh, so
sat
this
there.
was the good old days when you guys are actually in the studio working together
Oh
versus.
yeah, he picked the beat to rap on. Like he said, I played it for him. Like I had a selection of like 5. I said, I got 5, I think, that I want to use on my album. Tell me if you like these 5. And it just happened to be one of the Kanye beats. And he said, yeah. And we finished the song right there in the studio that day.
Because the album ends up coming out in September of '99, right? His Slim Shady LP came out in February of that year. When was the actual song recorded? Was it after he put out the first album, or was it before?
It was after. Our song came out after his, but we made it before his album came out.
Oh, okay.
You remember back then, it took a very long time for songs to come out.
Right. So like
And
he had a buzz, but he wasn't like taking off yet, like not on that level.
Yeah, nah.
And when you think about $5,000, of course it was a lot of money at that time still, but a bargain now in retrospect for getting him on the album.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And he didn't have to do it, but he knew who I was, and he did the King Kniff character with the Mad Rapper. So it's D. Mad Rapper, King Kniff, Eminem. So he got it. And then I named the record Stir Crazy because of the Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder movie that came out. It was called Stir Crazy. It was a black dude and a white dude. So that's why I said, I called it Stir Crazy after the movie, Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
Genius. And what was it like to work with him in the studio? Like, did he write really fast?
Yeah, I mean, he wrote pretty fast. I mean, it was no rush, but yeah, he pretty much got it down. And he, he's a genius. To me, he's one of the top MCs ever. You know what I mean? So I didn't really was sitting there watching his movement because I was writing too. So, but I think two great minds collided, and just to know that we were together for that process. That's I hold solace to that. Like, you know what I mean? Because all my records that I did on that album, I was with the people. It was no, you go do it and send it to me like it is today.
Right, yeah. And there's something to be said about having that chemistry inside the studio when you can bounce off each other with ideas and everything,
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to work with him like later on in your career?
Yeah.
All right, well, Em, if you see this, we need another track. We need another track together.
Word.
So I would say the most known song from the project is probably How to Rob, right? With 50. That's the last.
Hey, you got to tell me. I don't know what.
That's the last track on the album.
Yeah.
And I think that because, it was featured on the movie In Too Deep with LL Cool J and Omar Epps and everything.
Right.
How did that song come about?
One of the A&Rs that worked for the Track Masters, his name was Rich Nice. I guess they didn't have a hook for it. And I was in a studio working that night, and he called my phone and said, Dad, I need some help. I need a hook for this record. I was like, Rich, I'm getting ready to go fuck home. It's 1, 2 in the morning, whatever. He said, please, please, please. So he ran to the studio, played it for me. I said, oh, this shit is hot. And it was 50. I hadn't even met him yet. So I sat there that night, wrote the chorus, gave it back to Rich. Didn't hear much about it again. Forgot all about it. Then about a week or two later, Rich called me back and says they love it at Columbia. Trackmasters, Poke and Tone love it. We need you to meet 50. So I met him, gave him a dap, and that's how the record came about.
And you guys ended up going to do like a lot of tours and shows together, right? After that?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Him and Tony and a young, skinny Tony Yayo.
Right. And I think the chorus was perfect for that song because it really lightened the mood, right? To show like it's not that serious. I'm not really trying to.
Yeah, don't take it too serious. Yeah, like some people got upset, but I would say I know you're upset, but did you like the record? Because at the end of the day, we're in the record making business, so it's about making the best record you can. And to me, that was a great record.
And I think that what you were saying was really smart because 50, when he talks about that record, he always says, well, this is like my last shot at, making it in the industry. Like, I'm just going to go all out. Right. And so basically he's really hungry at that time, real hungry. And your perspective is saying being broke can make you delirious. It can make you just do whatever to make it. Right. And so I think that it was a perfect.
You start robbing rappers. You start robbing producers and executives. Why not? Like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to go all out. But it sounded like a Mad Rapper record. It sounded like he was perfect to be a part of the team. It was like, that's a perfect concept of a mad rapper. That's it right there. So it was another natural fit. I felt like, thank you, Rich Nice, because he helped me, to say, yeah, I think I should be a part of that. Because, look at the result.
So
It launched a lot of shit.
What ends up happening when it gets featured in the Into Deep movie?
The politics again in the building, music business politics. It pushed my album back because they wanted to feature it, so it didn't have the same impact for my album that it could have had. It wasn't supposed to be for my album, but I asked them, could I put it on there since they already did? So they let me put it on my album, even though it wasn't supposed to be on there. But I was like, listen, I got so much great feedback from it. They think he's my artist, and he already, used it somewhere else, and it's not going on his debut album, so let me use it.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you guys end up doing a video for that?
Nope.
No, that would have been dope to do a video for that, man.
Again, politics.
Right. Did you ever get a chance to work with 50 again?
Not really, but we still cool. When I see him, he shows me love. We never had no problems. He's a good dude, smart, super genius. So, we didn't really. I wasn't really involved with his career on the production side. It was just a moment. Two artists got together. We made a good record. And, he went about his business, but no love lost at all.
Right. Did you know that he would end up becoming as big as he was?
It wasn't hard to see. I mean, it's the way his mind worked. It wasn't hard to see. Again, I think something in the universe tells me if opportunity comes, there's a reason why Rich was in our lives to connect me and that person, 50 Cent. There's a reason why Kamel and Busta, for some reason, introduced me to the concept of Eminem.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why DeAndre Free Maiden introduced me to Kanye West, because, something in the stars in the universe, said, and see it and know what you're seeing, Derek, and take advantage of it. So I did. Somebody could have easily met Kanye and said, or met Eminem and said, he's a white boy, we don't want to do no records with him, we don't like white boys and rap, and skipped over him, which I'm sure a lot of people did.
Right. And
I'm sure they regret that to this day.
So I know you ended up having a conversation with Big Pun about how to rob, right? Because
small.
Yeah. Like, what was that conversation like, and Pun's reaction?
He was a little upset, you know what I'm saying? But again, that dude was, phenomenal. So I think he brushed it off his shoulder. Well, a lot of people were upset just because they weren't used to their names being mentioned on records. We're the most egotistical, genre.
That's facts.
We can talk about everybody else, but we can't be talked about. I think that was a shock to hear all of these names on one record from a person that was brand new and was no punk and didn't give a fuck. And then to have D-Dot Angeletti, who had just made all these hit records, kind of co-sign it with people I work with, was kind of a shock to the system to people. But again, that's why I said the smart ones realized it and took it. So Jay-Z ended up, spanking them right back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
People just, see what it is and embrace it, but plan for it. Okay. Other people, but then I had people say, yo, why he ain't mention my name? Why he ain't telling me? It would have been nice to be like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, you get it.
So then there were people that were upset that they felt they were worthy. That
they didn't get mentioned.
They were worthy of being mentioned.
It's iconic to be brought up in that sense. You may not like the context of what he's saying, but it was genius. So, of course, you want to be a part of that.
I bet you those people are happy now that he's super successful and he was mentioned back then. He mentioned you back then.
Right.
So I'm a little surprised that Pun felt the way, because Pun is such a lyrical genius that I felt like he would get it,
I don't think that he didn't get it. I just think the line itself, Missy with the hot dog, it's what was said. You know what I'm saying? Certain things were softer than others. Stevie J didn't like the line, but he got it. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't like it. Nobody likes to be mentioned in a bad light. Nobody. But I came saying, hey, listen, come on, man. Like, I'm not going to ruin my career for this fucking record right here. You know what I mean? So it was in jest. So take it as such. If not, then see what I see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I can do.
And Pun later on went on to respond to 50 on his song My Turn, right? He said to the 50 Cent rapper, haha, real funny, basically. Did you have a relationship with Pun, or was it just more of like, a few interactions?
Few interactions. We made the Benzino remix together. So that, I knew Sean C, because Sean C was one of the A&Rs at Loud Records. So, that's kind of how we connected, but I didn't really have a relationship with him like that. No.
But you're half Puerto Rican, right? On your mom's side?
Yes.
So
Yes.
for you at that point, we hadn't really seen any Boricuas come up to that level of success yet, right? To see somebody do what Pun was doing. Would you say?
MC wise,
Right, MC wise.
Yeah, MC wise.
What was that like for you to watch him come up like that?
I mean, all of them.
Terror Squad.
The Terror Squad. Come on, Dot. It's the two Spanish dudes. They on my album. Come on, Dot. I feel bad right now. The Beat Nuts.
Oh yeah, the Beat Nuts. Yep.
Cypress Hill. So the representation was always there. It's just sporadic. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't enough. But listen. Anybody doing their thing, white, black, Spanish, indifferent, Asian, whatever. I respect it because this is a hard field. This is a gladiator sport. So if you're able to stand out in whatever form you're able to stand out and maintain it, I respect you. I ain't got to like it, but I respect it.
That's one thing that I really appreciate that I've seen in your interviews. You make that distinction there. You're like, I respect that you doing your thing. Doesn't mean that I have to like it. Doesn't mean it's my style necessarily, but I can show you respect that, you putting in the work.
Oh, absolutely. There's shit from my era that I didn't listen to, and I'm sure there's people that don't listen to some of my shit. All my shit ain't hot.
Right.
But there's no reason to be disrespectful about it. There's no reason to shame a generation because they're not doing what we did or the way we did it. We didn't do it the way the 70s and 80s artists did it, and they didn't do it the way the 50s and 40s, So just let them have a moment. I'm just a sheer person that understands. I got to see 50 years of hip hop. God willing, we get to see 50 more. Probably none of us will be around here to see another 50 more. But just think about where we'll be. So instead of criticizing them, let's help them build. So that way, this thing of ours is still around.
Absolutely. Yeah. Did you ever get a chance to produce any songs for Pun?
Yeah, the Benzino remix with Pun and Cardan and I think Meeks was on one of them. Yeah, I did a Benzino remix. Me and Kanye.
So yeah, let's get into Kanye. Okay. So he was featured on the Mad Rapper album a lot, right? And you started managing him. You said that you met him through who again? DeAndre
Freemaiden, a Howard University alum who was working and managing him at the time. And I guess Kanye wanted to meet me, so he arranged a meeting, and it went well. And then I ended up managing him before he got to Rockefeller.
So when you're managing him, are you giving him points on like the beat production or just like?
Of course, I even gave him sounds. I gave him some of my sounds, and of course, I'm critiquing his work, and he's critiquing mine too. It's like he was a boy genius. So it's not like I'm telling him and everything I'm saying is right. No, it's just we in the room. We're teammates, so we sharing thoughts and sharing ideas. But he was new and young. He wasn't a producer yet, meaning he knew how to make beats, but to sit in the room and tell the artist what to do, how to do, and a singer and the tone you wanted, or the levels you want, or the key, and all that stuff, and telling musicians how to play this and play that. He wasn't there yet, so that was my job.
Yeah, because on the song "Last Call" off of College Dropout, right? He says, "I was messing with a D-Dot also." And then he talks about the ghost producing right then, and that was a period that you weren't very fond of because of the narrative that it was pushing.
Yeah, the narrative was that I was just sitting with my dick in my hand and an umbrella in my drink and my feet up and just slapping my name on records. But the reality was that he wasn't even around when his records that I'm a part of were being made. He did the beats at home and he sent them to me. And then he said it on one of his tapes. And then I sent D-Dot the beat. Next thing I do is I hear he heard hi. I mean, he heard Stir Crazy. So that's not producing. If you just make the beat at home and you send it to somebody, that's not producing. That's making a beat. So the problem I had with ghost producing is a couple of things. One, the word ghost means you're not seen. So it's never a record that ever came out that he didn't get paid or his name wasn't on. It happened one time, and he ran with that one time as if it was my fault. It happened on the Lost Tapes project.
For Nas?
When Nas was working on it, one of those albums, I had did 4 songs for him. One of them got leaked. It was called High. And he was like, I want to get high, high, for some reason. The other 3 were Kanye West beats that me and Kanye did. And I mean, that I did with Nas. And they never came out. So, everybody went about their lives. Next thing you know, the Lost Tapes pops up out of nowhere. And the song is on there. But they never called me for credit information. They never called. This is years later. So they just put the song out and said produced by D-Dot. But it was called the Lost Tapes, and obviously they lost all the information, including credits, including phone numbers and emails, because it just popped out. So then he sees that and says, oh, D-Dot is stealing my beats, and I'll get the fuck out of here. I'm not known for stealing nobody's beats, and there's no such thing as ghost producing when you're getting your name and your credits. Ghost means you're not seen. That's what some producers did in the early 80s, where they took somebody's music and they put their name on it, and the person is still suing them to this day.
Right.
That's not, Grandmaster Caz is considered a ghostwriter for Big Bang Hank because he wrote the damn song on Sugar Hill Gang and they didn't give him no credit. That's ghost. That's ghost. Kanye didn't have that issue with me. So the narrative was disrespectful to me and what I do and my craft and all the shit that I've done. And the idiot media people that ran with it, don't do enough research to understand the difference between a producer and the person who makes the actual beat. So the beat is not the song. Somebody has to go and write lyrics to it, put the lyrics on it, record the lyrics, decide if the hook is hot, put a bridge on it, mix the records, put instrumentation on it if it's not there. Sometimes it's the same person. But in hip hop, a lot of times, these guys did a sample, put some drums on it, and that's all they knew. So when you hear bass lines and strings and all types of stuff, that's people like me and Jermaine and Puff and
Dre.
And Dre seeing the bigger picture for the song and taking these dudes' tracks to another level.
Yeah, because you're like the one that's like orchestrating it. Like you're the conductor, right? You're like, this could take it to the next level.
Don't play that, play this. Put a piano on it. Take the bass line, they can do all that. So if you're home in Chicago and you're not in part of that process, ghost what?
So the beat maker is usually like more like the foundation. You got like the bottom part of it, and then you guys are taking it to the next level. When you say that the song was leaked on Nas's the Lost Tapes, right? Are you making calls to tell them that, hey, Kanye was a part of this too, or did Kanye try to get that? Or
of course I did, but again, this is the era where you can't just digitally change it and it comes down and you put the next one up the next day. There was no websites. There was no streaming. This is in stores on Best Buys and Virgin Record stores. So it's printed up already.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if the record company got to do it, they got to go and print up all new copies just to say, and Kanye West. They fucked it up.
They're not doing that.
That happens. You know how many times my name was butchered? It'd be 2 R's, a K, 3 L's, 2 T's. I can't say, hey, Universal, can you do me a favor and on one of my own albums on Bad Boy, on a record I produced on Black Rob's album, my name ain't even on the production list. As a writer, they left my name off, and I looked at the credits and missed it. So it's human error. It shit happens.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? But there was no way to go back and make Sony and Columbia Records go print up 10 million more just to put and Kanye West on it.
But on the back end, he started receiving the money for it, though, and the credit, though.
I would assume he did. I don't check his money, but he got his writer's credit and his money again. I never got a call saying, hey, Dot, can you pay us the money you got for the song?
Okay.
There's no one out there that can say that to me. There's not an artist or producer that says Dot robbed me, and neither can he.
So did you end up maintaining a relationship with him over the years?
Not really. I saw him a couple years ago. We cool. It's not like we gonna fight or beef or nothing. But he went to a different space. So, but you know, for the people that keep that narrative up that he was some boy genius and I was sitting around, you know, taking his work and putting my name on it is ridiculous.
Right.
And I would challenge anybody to put him in a room with me and he say that to them. Period. Simple. Never happened.
Did you know that he was going to become as big as he was?
Absolutely.
Wow. So you saw that in him from the beginning.
I was the only one that wanted him to rhyme. Nobody wanted him to rhyme. I let him rhyme on the Mad Rapper mixtapes.
That video on the documentary, right? On Netflix, where he's like trying to rhyme for all these people. So that's like kind of a proper depiction of like people really didn't rock with his rhyming at the time.
Nobody wanted him to rhyme. I was the only one that said, this nigga kind of nice. So I let him rap on the Mad Rapper mixtapes. I was doing these mixtapes called The Underground Railroad with DJ Ash Knuckles. I let him rap on him. I thought he was nice. I was like, yeah, he nice. You know?
And one thing I want to commend you on too is that you helped him get his publishing back too, right?
I don't want to really get into that. That was a soft spot for a lot of people.
Gotcha.
Let's just say that there's some misinformation out there, but I think it worked out for everybody.
Gotcha. So D-Dot, I just want to say thank you so much, man, for your time today. I know you're a busy man, and I wish we had more time, but it's like your hip hop knowledge and your stories are just endless, man. I tried to ask you questions that you normally don't get asked. I know there's a lot of ones that you get asked all the time, but truly a legend, bro, and just a big contributor.
Thank you.
You know.
Thank you, family. Thank you. I really appreciate that, man. You know, I appreciate your time. And like I said, I'm a man of my word. It's just a timing thing. So I appreciate you. And we'll do another round. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
We'll definitely do another round. I just want to support this Black Rob album. Life Story 2 is out. You know, shout out to Riz and Jamal and Bishop, the engineer, and everybody that supported it, everybody that's down. I just want to shout them out. It was a labor of love. And it's out now. So, you know, when people see this interview, they can click on whatever streaming site they use. Go get Life Story 2 and sit back and enjoy it. It's a double album.
Yo, you guys really need to check it out. It's just ridiculous. It's a great album, man. Yeah, I've been listening to it, especially that Step Up song, man. That Biggie sample is ridiculous.
Thank you, family. Yeah, man. Thank you. I love you for that, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you, man. Like, because I really appreciate you because you didn't have to do this. And my channel's really not that big, but you did it out of love, you know, and that's big on your part, man.
I appreciate you, man. Keeping it funky is always good for me, bro.
All right, D-Dot.
Make this interview look good.
I will, man. I will.